Hello and welcome to the Wednesday Night Grumpy Sound Guy Show. I am your host, Mr. J.R. Everhart, the Grumpy Sound Guy himself. In this video, I've heard you, my Canadian friends, my Canadian followers. We are going to talk about Yorkville. There's something you guys need to remind yourself of when you're watching my content is there's a ton, especially in today's world, there's a ton of new stuff that's out there that I'm not aware of. There's a ton of manufacturers that I love and I just haven't gotten around to talking about. Yorkville is one of them. So kind of bear with me here. You know, a lot of you guys keep the information coming. There's a lot of you guys are starting to turn me on to some new stuff that I haven't seen before. And I really dig that. You know, if we could get the manufacturers to send me some of this stuff, I would love to review it. But today's video is on our Canadian brothers, Yorkville. So stick around because we're going to have a really cool conversation about these guys. See you in a minute. Okay, so before we dive into today's content, let me remind you to please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's absolutely free to subscribe. 80% of you guys watching this video right now is not subscribed to the channel. If you enjoy this content and you enjoy my perspective on the music business and my kind of like street smarts, down to earth, budget conscious kind of mindset on reviewing gear and trying to teach you guys how to make maximum amount of money with minimum amount of gear, man, hit that subscribe button. You know, like I said, it's absolutely free. It doesn't cost anything. Hit the notification bell so you'll get a notification every time we post a video. I have no way of taking that information of you being subscribed and using it in any kind of spam manner or anything like that. So when you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, you're just going to get an alert whenever I post a video. We do daily shorts almost every day, short form videos, and then at least once a week, every Wednesday at 8, we do the Grumpy Sound Guy Show. But I'm trying to pour more content into the channel. So we're getting up to 2 and 3 videos a week now, long form videos. We're having these kind of conversations, you know, like we're going to have today, and really, you know, dive in deep and get into the nuts and bolts of whatever the day's subject is. Now, if you're already a member or already a subscriber and you like just really dig what's going on here and you want to see more of this filtered to you, I would ask you to become a member of the channel. You can do that for as low as about $5 a month. You know, that's about the price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks or something like that. Probably, you know, in my area, it's less than a price of a cup of Starbucks coffee. And it gives you inside access to member-only videos that will never be made public. At least that's kind of the way I'm structuring it. So if you're not a member, you're not going to see that content anyplace else but on the member side of the YouTube channel. There's a couple different packages there that give you a couple different quirks and things like that. We're planning right now, in the planning process of putting together some live chats where we're going to get on there and just kind of talk back and forth to each other. Members always get my attention, even if we're over on my Facebook profile, the JR Everhart Facebook profile, and you send me a private message. If I know you're one of my members, I typically answer your questions. I'll even come over and do a video for your question on the member side specifically for you, which is pretty much the way I've been handling that. And I think that's been working really well. So yeah, I mean, get on the train, man. Be in the inner circle. Sit at the cool kids table in the cafeteria of Grumpy Sound Guy followers and become a member of the channel. Also, one last thing, and then we're going to dive into the conversation. Please jump over to the clpaudio.com website. Check that out. There's a merch store there that you can buy all kinds of goofy, cool Grumpy Sound Guy swag and merch that I have created and put up on there. Or maybe you want to support my company and fly the CLP audio and staging colors as your next gig. Man, that's the place to do it. I barely make a nickel off of any of that merch that's happening over there on that site. We're actually in the process of revamping the website and stuff like that. But get over there, clpaudio.com, clpaudio.com, and check out all the things that are going on over there. Let's get back to the conversation. And welcome back. So Yorkville, let's see, the first time I heard the name Yorkville was probably in the early to mid 90s or something like that. I know they go back further than that, but I mean, being a Canadian company, we didn't see a whole bunch of that stuff down this way. Back in those days, everyone was using EAW, was kind of the ruled the roost, you know what I mean? And then it was JBL. PV owned the middle market, you know, for that much. In fact, the first time I seen some Yorkville stuff, my first impression, without hearing it, just looking at it, you know, my first impression was, this looks like maybe it's a step above PV or something like that. Well, what I come to learn later down the road was it was a significant step above, you know, PV. But I'll never forget, I was actually on my honeymoon in Virginia Beach, and where we had to park our car was about 2 blocks away from the hotel. Now, there was a hotel and then a seafood restaurant that I think the hotel owned right next door. Between that was an alleyway with a stage right on the boardwalk, right on the beach. And they were playing back with their back to the ocean, back toward the street. And I was in the parking garage 2 blocks away, and this band kicked up, and I was like, holy cow. I mean, it was like I was 50 feet away from the system. The low end was kicking like freaking crazy. I'm like, okay, well, I'm in a parking garage. You know, low end kind of like, it kind of does its thing in a big, you know, environment like that or whatever. So we come out of the parking garage, we're walking down the street now, now I can see the stage 2 blocks ahead of me and see the band playing. And I am blown away at how much bottom end that I was hearing out of the system. I mean, the mids and highs sounded great too. To make a long story short, by the time I got up to the band, you know, got settled into the hotel and was able to get back down to the band and see what they were actually using for production and talk to the sound guy and had a great conversation with him. They were using the LS1208 subs, single 18 subs. Single 18 subs was punching my guts out, you know, at least a block down the street. Was still really punchy 2 blocks down the street. And I was blown away at how well those things, how efficient they were. Well, I mean, they're 139 dB peak subs in a single 18. It still sounds like absolute insanity to me. It's a passive sub. They named this thing the Giant Killer, you know, for many, many years. They may still call it that for all I know, but that sub is a force to be reckoned with, and let me tell you, you know. And I mean, if you're somebody who is wanting to put together a really good club level rig, even large club level rig, and you know, don't want to, you know, move a bunch of gear, that whole Elite series of passive Yorkville stuff and those subs, you know, it's a horn loaded manifold enclosure which does all kinds of acoustic voodoo to make the subs punch the way they do. Man, you cannot go wrong with those rigs. You just absolutely cannot, you know. They will surprise you every day of the week. I have a local buddy of mine that has a small production company who had a pair of those, and I think he was using like JBL PRX tops with them. And that little system would bark, man. That little system would get it done. I mean, it never failed to impress. I think the tops kind of, you know, had their limitations. Had he had the Elite or even some of the other models. Like now there's a Synergy thing, I think is the new thing with those guys. I see they are dabbling in some form of line array now or whatever, like a para array or a para line or something is what it's called. I was just looking at the website. I'm kind of out of touch with Yorkville. I had a buddy of mine that used to live 2 doors down from me who was a Yorkville dealer when I lived in Virginia. And I heard a bunch of his Yorkville stuff on several different occasions. Every single time they just kicked ass. I mean, kicked ass and took names, man. I mean, no question about it. To the point where people were like, what is he using again? Yorkville? What is Yorkville? People in the know obviously know what Yorkville is, but a whole bunch of novice people, especially this younger generation, dude, they just don't know. They don't really understand how strong of a company Yorkville is, and everything that they make is just great. I looked on the website. I seen they have a couple different series of plastic boxes, which I'm sure sound as good or better than any other plastic box that's out there. But they have a whole line of wooden Baltic birch boxes that are both powered and passive. I see a ton of the Yorkville, well, not a ton, but I see a good bit of the Yorkville stuff floating around the used market, the pre-owned market. I think that says a lot for them. Some of them boxes are 30 years old, man, and they're still pounding your brains out. I mean, they definitely make durable gear. You cannot go wrong with Yorkville. That's really the long and short of this. And I could sit here and tell you story after story after story of times where I have walked in on bands and production companies using Yorkville point source stuff and club settings, large club settings, small to medium size outdoor settings, and Yorkville just crushing it. My buddy that used to live down the street from me, he had a 3-way top that was powered. I forget what line of Yorkville it was. It was a wooden box. And man, that thing just screamed, man. And I mean, no distortion. It was crystal clear. I think he had 3 of the 21-inch, single 21-inch, subs, center clustered on that gig, and they were crushing. I mean, dude, I really can't say enough good things about them. I would love to get my hands on the new Synergy stuff. Yorkville, if you're watching this video, man, contact me, J.R. Everhart. Google me. I'm real easy to find. My phone number is all over the internet, or go to clpaudio.com, shoot me an email or something like that. I would love to review some of that Synergy stuff. It looks really, really cool. It's something I haven't heard. It's something I haven't seen right in front of me. And I would love to put some of it to work and just see, what that next level of Yorkville looks like, because it definitely looks next level stuff. So, this week is not a long video. You know what I'm saying? This is what I got to say about Yorkville. Please tell me your stories about Yorkville. Tell me about the first time you heard the Giant Killer, because everybody's got a story about that sub. And I cannot wait to hear some of your feedback and hear what you guys have to say about that stuff, because it is absolutely brutally durable, good sounding gear. I have nothing negative to say about Yorkville. I would own their stuff in a second if I could get it at the right price. And, I'm always open to endorsements. But, so check out Yorkville. I think it's Yorkville.com or something like that online. Google them. You'll find them. Give it your time, man. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. Give it your time. Go in there on the website and look around. And, they have local dealers all over North America. They're not just in Canada. There's Yorkville dealers all over the United States. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Chuck Levin's Washington Music Center in Washington, D.C. is a Yorkville dealer. So if you're in the Mid-Atlantic, feel free to reach out to those guys. If you call Pro Audio, ask for Randy White. He's a good buddy of mine. Tell him that the Grumpy Sound guy sent you, and he will hook you up. And he'll have the same review that I've had about Yorkville. It just gets it done, man. Gig after gig after gig. Like I said, I got nothing negative to say about the company. I've never seen a Yorkville system fail, first of all. I've never seen a Yorkville system that I didn't absolutely love. I just have never been in a situation where I was able to get my hands on any of it. I've never been in a situation where I didn't already have what I needed in stock and had a need to buy, more point source stuff, because that's really kind of their claim to fame. So, it is what it is, but I every time I have run across one of those rigs, I've loved it. Even with questionable sound guys, the stuff sounded decent. It's always the Indian, not the Arrow, but it sure is nice to have a good straight Arrow when you're trying to, mix a band. This guy in Virginia Beach ended up being at that stage the entire time I was at the beach. And dear God, was that rig was just, I went down there 2 or 3 different times and talked to him. We had great conversation. And the rig was just getting it done. And he mixed a variety of different music that week too. There was a country band there was an 80s tribute band. There was like a top 40 R&B dance band. I think he even had some acoustic acts during the day on one of those days we were there. Everything that came through that rig sounded like $1 million. He was a great sound engineer, and the system was just correct. So hit me up in the comments. Let me know your thoughts about Yorkville, and I look forward to the conversation. We'll see you.